What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm here with Kelly, and she wanted to show off for you, so you guys how much she could deadlift. I said, you know what, let's start really light because I don't want her to intimidate everyone. I get it, it's a problem she deals with every day. But what we wanted to do was show you 3.5, 4 quick tips or mistakes, things to avoid as far as doing the trap bar deadlift. I've also got Bruiser who's going to help out as well. He's got some words of wisdom. We'll save that for the very end. So the first thing on the trap bar deadlift, the first mistake that we want to avoid is that most people set up in their stance, they set up too wide. Go ahead and put your feet a little bit wider. So a lot of people are set up to where they're almost like trying to take up the entire hex bar. You don't want to do that. You want your feet about shoulder width apart. Think about like your ankles or your feet should be almost like directly below your shoulders. So you want your feet about shoulder width apart. Again, a lot of people tend to set up way too wide on this. So second tip we're going to talk about has to do with breathing and creating tension. And so what we want to do, and I've talked about this before, we want to create as much tension, which is going to help make us stronger, so that when we're picking the heavy weight up off the floor, we're creating the maximum amount of force that we can. So how that impacts our breathing is what Kelly wants to do. When she reaches down to grab onto the handle, she's going to take a nice deep breath, and then as she's standing up, she's exhaling. So a lot of people don't think about their breathing. They're holding their breath. They're not breathing at all. They're breathing too much. They're breathing at the wrong point in time. So again, when she's doing this, go ahead and do one. So she's going to drop down there. She wants to hold her breath, create a lot of tension, and exhale as she's standing up. Let's go ahead and do one more. And then she's exhaling as she stands up. Now go ahead and turn it 90 degrees if you will. So those are the first two things. Now the third thing is super simple fix, and it all has to do with the setup. So if you think about the hex bar and how the weight's evenly distributed, right here where the bar is out to each side, that's kind of the center of where the weight is. So what happens is a lot of times people get set up in the bar here and they are near the back of the trap bar, or they're not perfectly centered. The easiest way to do this, so in doing so, the reason that that's an issue is because if the weight's in front of her, then when she, go ahead and bend down right here. If she goes to stand up from here, the weight's in front of her, it's going to pull her forward, putting more pressure on her low back. We don't want to do that. We want to keep the pressure off the low back and allow you to generate more force through the legs. So instead, make sure your ankle is lined up evenly with the center of the bar. Super simple thing that just has to do with the setup. So make sure your ankle is lined up evenly with the bar, or if you have the appropriate amount of mobility, you could even roll it behind the bar. So what I'll tell some people, and this is like what I do because I'm not super flexible, reach down to grab the bar, and then before she pulls up, she can roll it back about an inch or two, and then she's going to be in a much more optimal spot. You don't have to adjust it a bunch, but again, the important thing is you don't want the weight to be in front of you because it's just going to pull you forward, put pressure in your low back. And then the fourth and final tip, unless Bruiser has more to add to this, is all in how we stand up. So a lot of times when doing the trap bar deadlift, go ahead and get down in the position. So again, we want to keep pressure off the low back. Where people will go wrong is when they stand up, they'll stand up from here and then kind of try to stand up with the bar. So we don't want that, and it's really hard to know if you're doing this right. So it's really tricky because you obviously can't see yourself when you're doing it. So again, we want to think about this, think about leading with the shoulders, not with the hips. So show them wrong first. So all it is, it's a real simple, like standing there, see how her hips came up first? Don't do that. So instead, you want to come up from the shoulders first. So she's going to grab on right there, and then the shoulders come up, and the hips come up with it. But again, what you don't want is to come up from the hips first. You don't want your butt to come up first, because again, that's just going to put more pressure on your low back. So, Bruiser, anything worth adding? No, that's it. I guess we covered it all. So thank you all for watching. Have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Again, 4 things to help you do the trap bar deadlift safely and more effectively. Bye.